The landing pad was quiet. Only the soft sound of wind moved through the trees around the human research base. But inside the main hall, every soldier stood straight. Every diplomat held their breath. Today, a very important guest was coming. Not just any alien. She was royalty, Princess Vera of the Thalakari Empire, the first of her kind to step foot on Earth. Everyone had been told, no sudden moves, no contact. Speak only when spoken to, and under no condition, no physical touch. Then, the ship arrived. It was silver and smooth, like a falling drop of water from the sky. The engines made no sound. The ship opened like a blooming flower. And out stepped Vera. She wore a long, dark blue robe that shimmered like a night sky. Her silver hair was tied high. Her skin was pale lavender, and her eyes glowed faintly. Sign of her noble blood. Her walk was calm, slow, powerful. Behind her followed 2 tall guards in black armor, and a translator drone floating silently. She stopped at the entrance. The human officials lined up. At the center stood Captain Jack Rayner, chosen to represent Earth. He was a war veteran, but he looked more like a farmer today. Clean uniform, warm smile, strong shoulders. Vera moved forward and gave a small bow, her people's highest sign of respect. Jack stepped forward. Everyone expected him to bow too, but he didn't. He smiled, and then he opened his arms. Before anyone could stop him, Jack Rayner gently pulled the alien princess into a hug. Gasps filled the room. A human diplomat dropped her pen. The guards tensed. The alien translator glitched. Vera's entire body stiffened. For 3 seconds, she did not move. Then she blinked slowly, her glowing eyes wide with shock. She didn't pull away, but she also didn't hug back. When Jack let go, she stared at him like he had just performed some kind of strange magic. What was that? She asked softly. Her translator buzzed. Physical contact detected. Violation of cultural protocol. Jack scratched the back of his neck. Ah, that was a hug. It's how we humans say, welcome. You seemed nervous. Thought it might help. Help. Vera repeated the word like it was alien to her. Yes, warmth, comfort, peace. The hall stayed frozen. The Thalakari guards moved forward, but Vera raised her hand. Stop, she commanded. Her voice was calm, but carried power. She turned to Jack. You broke tradition, human, but you also surprised me. Jack raised an eyebrow. Good surprise or bad surprise? I don't know, she said honestly. Later that day, the news spread across space. Human captain hugs alien princess in first contact. On Earth, some people laughed, some cheered, and some said he had ruined everything. On Vera's homeworld, it was worse. The royal court was furious. The act was seen as disrespectful, even dangerous. Her father, Emperor Varak, demanded answers. But Vera said only one thing in her report. The human showed no weapon, no threat, just warmth. I do not understand it, but I need to learn more. That night, while sitting alone in her guest chamber, she placed her hand on her chest. It was still warm. That feeling had not gone away, not even after hours. Thalakari did not hug. Thalakari did not touch. For centuries, their culture had taught that physical closeness was weakness. Royalty especially had to remain distant above others. But now, one hug from a human had shaken her mind more than any weapon ever could. Outside, Jacques sat on a bench near the base garden, staring at the stars. He rubbed his arm where her robe had touched him. It wasn't a big deal to him. Hugs were normal. But something about her reaction. She had looked scared. And then, curious. He had seen many things in war. But he had never seen an alien look Like that, like a child tasting sugar for the first time. He had no idea what was coming next. Neither did she. Asterisk. Vera sat by the tall glass window of her guest room. Earth's moon hung in the sky like a silver eye watching her. Below, she could see trees swaying gently in the night wind. Oh, it was peaceful, too peaceful. Her mind, however, was not. The warmth was still there. It had been over a day since the human touched her, since he broke every rule of tradition. Since he hugged her, she should have been furious. She should have demanded punishment. Instead, she stayed silent, and now the entire galaxy was roaring with scandal on her homeworld. Of Thalkari's news channels didn't stop talking. Princess Vera violated by human contact. The shame of the royal house. Was it an attack? The Emperor's court sent emergency messages to her ship. Return immediately. Cease all communication with the humans. You are not to be touched again. You are to be cleansed. Her cousin, Lord Avancold and Proud, sent a message too. You let yourself be touched like a commoner. What would our ancestors say? Come home, Vera, at once. She deleted that message. The Earth officials were no better. Ambassadors panicked. You've offended the Thalakari Empire. Military leaders whispered. They might break the peace. Talks. One woman even said, you might have just started a war. With a hug, and Jack. He just sat in the garden again, quiet, waiting. He had been told not to approach the princess again. Let it cool down, they told him. Stay away. Don't make it worse. But Jack couldn't stop thinking about her face during the hug. Not angry, not scared, not royal. Just confused. Like she had felt something new. That night, while the base slept, a shadow moved through the hallway. Silent feet, soft robes, glowing eyes. Princess Vera. She wore a simple cloak now. No guards, no drones. Just her. She walked to the garden. He was there, of course, alone, leaning against a tree, staring at the stars again. He didn't see her at first. Human, she said softly. He turned. His eyes widened. Princess Vera. He stood quickly. Shouldn't you be? I don't know. Preparing to exile me or something. I came alone, she said. Not as royalty. Not for politics. Then why? He asked. She walked. Closer. I need to know. Why you did it. Jack blinked. The hug? She nodded. Because that's what humans do when we want someone to feel safe, he said. You seemed tense. Nervous? I thought maybe it would help. Why? Touch, she asked. Why not just speak words of peace? Jack smiled gently. Because words can lie, but the body can't. A hug is honest. You can't fake warmth. Vera looked down. Her hands trembled slightly. My people are afraid of touch, she whispered. We are taught to fear closeness. It means losing control. Jack didn't speak. He waited. But when you hugged me, something inside me changed. My chest. It felt like fire. Not pain, but heat. Alive, Jack slowly sat down on the grass. That's what we call emotion. I want to understand, she said. Jack looked up. You want another hug? Vera hesitated. Then, she slowly stepped forward. Only once, she said. No one must see. She knelt beside him. He opened his arms. This time, she didn't freeze. This time, she leaned into it. Her head rested against his chest, his arms wrapped around her gently. Her body, once stiff like stone, slowly relaxed. Her heartbeat matched his. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a princess. She felt like someone real. Someone human, but on a nearby rooftop. Someone watched. A small hidden drone, not from Earth, not from her ship, from a third party. A silent enemy, Its red eye blinked. Its message was sent. The princess has been corrupted. Proceed with plan. Terminate the human. Take the girl. Back inside, Vera stepped back. I should return before I'm missed, she said. Jack nodded. Of course, she started to walk away, then stopped. Jack, yeah. That warmth, it was real, wasn't it? Jack smiled. Every time. She left, but this time her heart felt heavier. She had tasted something forbidden, and she didn't want to let it go. The moonlight fell through the trees, soft and silver. The Earth base was mostly asleep, except for the quiet hum of machines and the low buzz of security drones. Yet, inside one of the human tents, Jack Rayner sat awake. He couldn't sleep. Something about the alien girl had stirred something deep in him. It wasn't just that she was royalty. It wasn't even that she was beautiful in an alien way with her glowing eyes, silver hair, and calm voice. No, it was something else. She felt lost, like she was carrying a mountain of rules on her back, and wanted to drop them just for a second. And when she hugged him back earlier that night, gently, slowly, it didn't feel like politics. It felt like truth. Suddenly, the tent flap RSTLE. Jack looked up, hand reaching instinctively toward his belt where his sidearm used to be. But he relaxed when he saw her. Vera? He whispered. She stepped inside, her robe darker than the shadows behind her. I couldn't sleep, she said softly. I had more questions. Jack sat up. More about hugging. She gave a faint smile. No, about humans. She sat down. On the floor across from him, legs crossed, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Why do your people smile so easily? She asked. Jack leaned back. Because we've seen enough sadness. She tilted her head. Strange. My people smile only to show power, victory, or lies. Jack chuckled. Then I guess you've never seen a human hold a puppy. A what? He smiled. Never mind. It's a tiny creature. Makes us forget everything bad for a minute. Vera paused. That's what you did. What do you mean? When you hugged me, she said, I forgot my duty. My name, my crown. I just felt like someone who mattered. Jack's heart beat a little faster. He didn't reply right away. Then Vera leaned forward, whispering, Do you think... ... I'm broken. Jack blinked. What? My people say. I'm too curious, too soft. I ask too many questions. I dream of things that make others angry. Then they're afraid of you. Why? Jack smiled faintly. Because you're alive inside, you feel things. And people who feel can't be controlled easily. Vera lowered her eyes. My cousin sent another message. He's arriving tomorrow. With royal guards, Jack sat up straighter. What does he want? To take me home, she said. End all contact with Earth. Maybe punish me. Punish you. For what? For wanting to be close to a human, she whispered. For letting one touch me. Jack was quiet. Then, he said firmly, That's not wrong, Vera. Her eyes glowed a little brighter. It is to them. But what about you? He asked. Do you feel like it's wrong? Vera looked at him. Slowly shook her head. No, she said. It felt like the first real thing I've ever done. Then she stood up. Jack rose with her. I want to know more, she said. Not about hugs. About you. About how you humans live. Love, cry, laugh. Jack stepped closer. That's a big journey. Vera's voice dropped. Then walk it with me. Jack hesitated, then nodded. I will. But outside the tent, in the darkness of the forest, a pair of red eyes blinked. A stealth drone hovered between trees, watching through the thin fabric of the tent, recording, tracking, calculating, target confirmed. Royal subject emotionally compromised. Human connection confirmed. Prepare for extraction. Back in the tent, Vera was close enough now that Jack could hear the quiet hum from her translator behind her ear. But she spoke without it this time. Her native voice was melodic, like a soft song. She said something Jack couldn't understand, but the tone was clear. Gentle, grateful. He smiled. I don't know what you said, but it sounded nice. She touched her heart and replied in broken English. I say, thank you. For seeing me. Jack didn't know what to say, so he did what humans do best. He reached forward slowly and took her hand. This time, she didn't pull away. They stood in silence. Two different species, two different worlds. One shared feeling, but the peace would not last because something dangerous was already on its way. And next time, they wouldn't be alone. Asterisk, the morning sky was heavy with clouds. Gray light fell over the Earth's space, and the usual sounds of machines and voices felt quieter. As if something big was about to happen. And it was. Princess Vera stood in front of a mirror in her guest chamber. Her long silver hair was braided back, her robe tightly wrapped around her. But her glowing eyes didn't shine with peace. They were full of worry, because today, her cousin was arriving. Lord Avon, royal enforcer, war hero, keeper of tradition, and the one who warned her, no more contact with a human. Vera had not told Jack yet. She didn't want to. She didn't want to see his face fall. Didn't want to hear the word goodbye. Her heart was confused. She wasn't supposed to feel this way. It's not about a human. But last night, his hand in hers, his voice in the dark, his promise to walk beside her. It changed everything. Still, duty called. A shuttle roared in the distance, breaking the quiet morning her cousin had landed. The ship was sharp and black, built like a blade. Royal guards poured out, armored and cold, and from within stepped Lord Avon. He looked like stone tall, broad-shouldered, face carved by battle. His glowing eyes didn't show warmth, only judgment. Princess, he said, bowing just enough. To stay polite, you have forgotten your place. Vera bowed slightly, but kept her eyes locked on his. No, cousin. I simply remembered I'm more than a title. His jaw tightened. Come. We return to Thalcaris now. I won't leave yet. You will. Inside the Earth base, Jack stood at the window, watching everything unfold. He saw the guards, the tension, the way Vera stood still, not stepping toward the ship. He felt it in his guts something was wrong. He grabbed his jacket and stepped outside. The guards moved to block him. Q. Avon raised a hand. Let him approach, he said. Jack walked up slowly. Princess, everything all right? Before she could answer, Avon spoke. Human, you have no right to speak to her. You have touched what must not be touched. You will now step away. Jack met his eyes calmly. I'm not here to fight. I'm here for her. Vera looked between them. Avon's voice was sharp. She is not yours. No, Jack said. She's her own. The wind picked up, brushing through the trees. Vera took a step forward. Away from Avon, I won't be dragged home like a prisoner. You are not being dragged, Avon snapped. You are being rescued. From what? She asked. From corruption. From emotion. From this primitive planet. Then I don't want rescue, she said, voice firm. Jack's heart beat faster. Vera turned toward the human. Show them, Jack. Show them what humans are. He looked confused. What do you mean? Hug me, she said. Loudly, clearly, Avon growled. No, but it was too late. Jack stepped forward and wrapped his arms around her. In front of all, the royal guards stepped forward instantly, weapons half drawn, but Vera raised her hand. They froze. Avian's voice was ice. You have broken every rule. No, she said. I have broken a cage. This is shame. No, she said again. This is choice. Then she faced the guards. All of you, look at him. He is not a beast, not a threat. He is kind and brave and warm. Jack cleared his throat. Thank you. Some guards shifted, their glowing eyes uncertain. Avon turned away. You've made your choice. Then you will return home in chains. No, she said quietly. I will return when I am ready. That evening, the skies darkened again, not with clouds, but with tension. The royal ship stayed docked. Avon stayed silent. Vera sat with Jack once more this time. On the grass outside the base. I've started a fire, she said softly. Jack smiled. Sometimes fire is the only thing that clears the forest. She looked up at him. If I stay longer, things will get worse. Then stay, he said, until they get better. Her hand touched his. She whispered, You make me question everything I was raised to believe. He chuckled. That's the human way. And above them, two worlds hung heavy in the sky, one built on rules, one built on choice. Vera now stood between them, and she had made her first real decision. Thunder rolled above the mountain range. The Earth's base sat in silence under the dark sky, waiting. Inside the meeting dome, a circle of chairs had been prepared, 12 seats for the alien council, and one for the human representative, the council. Of elders had arrived. They wore flowing robes of black and gold. Their faces were aged and cold, each marked with glowing tattoos of rank. These were not warriors. They were older than that. They were minds that controlled laws, peace, and punishment. And now they had come to see the human danger for themselves. Princess Vera stood in the center of the room, her hands behind her back, her voice calm but firm. I invited them, she said to Jack, who stood beside her. I want them to see you, the real you. Jack adjusted his collar. Not sure if I should have worn my gardening boots for this. Vera smiled faintly. Just be you. Then the council entered. The air grew heavier. 12 elders. 12 silent stares. Lord Avon stepped behind them. Arms crossed. You will now demonstrate what corrupted you, cousin. Vera didn't flinch. It was not corruption. It was connection. The oldest elder, a woman with silver facial marks, spoke. Explain what this hug is. Vera turned to Jack. Please. Jack stepped forward and gave a slow nod. In human culture, a hug is a gesture of safety. It says, I will not hurt you. I care. It is peace without words. The elders murmured softly among themselves. Then show us, said the elder woman. 3 council members were chosen to participate, each one older than war, each one untouched for decades. First came Elder Nor. He stepped forward stiffly, staring at Jack like he might explode. Jack opened his arms gently. May I? Nor gave a short nod. Jack hugged him. The old man's eyes widened. His muscles tensed. Then, slowly, they relaxed. He stepped back, hands trembling. It was strange. Did it hurt? Asked another elder. No, Nor said, but it made me feel seen. Next came Elder Trani, a woman once known. For her hard judgments, she refused to speak at all. Just stood like stone. Jack hugged her anyway, and when he pulled away, she had tears in her eyes. One fell onto her robe. She wiped it away fast, looking around as if ashamed. I felt warm, she whispered. I forgot my fear, for just a moment. The final elder was the youngest of the council, Elder Rek. Known to be ambitious and loyal to Avon's old ways, he stepped forward. His eyes narrowed. Let's get this over with, he muttered. Jack wrapped his arms around him, but this time, something different happened. The elder shoved Jack back. Disgusting, he snapped. I felt weakness. The room fell silent. Avin smirked. You see, they feel emotion and call it strength. Decay, it is not strength. It is decay. But Elder Nor interrupted. No, Lord Avin. I felt no decay. I felt something I had forgotten existed. Connection. Elder Trani added. It reminded me of when my child hugged me before war took him. Avin's jaw tightened. Rek hissed. We are above such things. But Nor shook his head. Maybe we shouldn't be? Vera stepped forward now. This is what I found here. Not chaos, not danger, but the power to feel. Feeling leads to rebellion, Avin growled. No, Vera said. Feeling leads to truth. Then she turned to the council. You came to judge. But now you've tasted the truth yourself. Decide not with fear, but with hearts that are finally open. Outside, rain began to fall. Soft, steady inside. The elders stood in silence. Then, one by one, they gave a slow nod. Elder Nor looked. At Avin, you serve the law. But laws must grow, or they become cages. Avin said nothing, but his eyes burned. That night, as the alien ships prepared to leave, Vera stood beside Jack once more. I think I shook the Empire, she whispered. Jack smiled, all with a hug. She turned to him, no, with a human. Their hands touched. This time, it didn't need to be hidden. This time, it was real. But high above the planet, in a hidden vessel cloaked in the clouds, a shadow watched. A masked figure stared at a glowing screen. She has chosen the human. Begin phase 2. Eliminate him. Before she forgets her blood. Asterisk, the stars looked peaceful that night. But peace was only an illusion. Inside her room, Vera sat on the floor, legs folded, her robe flowing like water around her. A small device hovered before her, casting blue light across her face. It was a message from her father, the Emperor of Thalcaries. His voice, deep and sharp, echoed in her mind. You have gone too far. We allowed contact for peace, not for weakness. You will return at once, and the human will be forgotten. Vera slowly reached forward and shut the message off. She couldn't listen anymore. Her heart hurt down below. Jack worked alone in the greenhouse behind the Earth's base. He wasn't planting today. He wasn't laughing or telling jokes. His hands moved without focus. His mind somewhere else. He knew something was changing. The way people looked at him. The way the alien guards watched him now like a threat instead of a friend. And the way Vera had been so quiet after the demonstration. He feared he was pulling her into something dangerous. He feared he was the reason her world wanted her back in chains. That evening, Vera came to him. She stood outside the greenhouse door, rain lightly falling on her robe. She looked tired, not physically, but inside. Her eyes didn't glow as bright. He opened the door for her. Vera, he said softly. You okay? Tono anymore? She whispered. He stepped aside, and she entered. They sat on a wooden bench near a vine-covered wall. The smell of wet soil surrounded them. I had another message, she said. From my father. Jack stayed quiet, letting her speak. He said, I've embarrassed the Empire, that I've been blinded by feelings. Jack looked at her gently. Have you? She turned to him slowly. Maybe, but if this is blindness, it's the first time I've seen anything clearly. Jack smiled faintly. That's how it starts. Oh, she leaned forward, voice shaking. You don't understand what I risk by staying here. I'm a royal daughter. Everything I do is watched, judged, used. You're more than that, Jack said. You're a person. You get to choose who you are. That's not how my world works. Then maybe your world needs to change. Vera looked away, eyes wet but refusing to cry. What if I want both, my people and you? Jack hesitated, then reached over and gently took her hand. You can try, but it won't be easy. She held his hand tighter. I'm not afraid of hard things. Then she stood. I need to tell my father face to face. I need to return. Jack stood too. And me? You. I want you to come with me. Jack blinked. Tell Karis.
Vera.
They don't exactly roll out red carpets for humans. I know, but if I go alone, they'll twist my words. They see us together. Maybe they'll. See what I saw? Jack was silent for a moment. Then he nodded. All right, let's do it. But far above, in orbit, a silent ship drifted through the darkness inside. The masked assassin, known only as Reth, stood before a holo dash map. A red dot blinked. Over Earth space. Target confirmed. A voice crackled through his earpiece. Princess is compromised. Kill the human. Bring her home. Alive. Reth said nothing. He simply pulled his black blade from its magnetic sheath. Then he vanished into shadow. That night, as Vera packed a few belongings, Jack sat by the shuttle. Preparing for departure, he looked at the stars again, wondering what kind of world he was heading toward, and whether he'd return alive. Suddenly, a sharp noise. He turned, a blur of movement, then pain. Something fast struck his side. He dropped to one knee, gasping. A figure in black armor stood behind him, silent, masked, deadly. Before Jack could shout, the assassin grabbed him by the neck and slammed him into the shuttle wall. Vera's voice cried out, Jack. She ran toward them. The assassin turned, raising a blade toward her hand. Jack, bleeding, grabbed the attacker's wrist and roared, Don't you touch her. He slammed his elbow into the assassin's ribs. Vera's guards came running, but the attacker dropped smoke and vanished into the trees. Gone, for now. Later in the infirmary, Jack lay on a bed. Bandaged but conscious. Vera sat beside him, holding his hand. I told you, he whispered. Aliens can't resist me. She smiled through tears. You almost died, but I didn't. She leaned close, her forehead touching his. You're coming with me anyway. Try and stop me. Outside, thunder rumbled again. But this time, the storm was not from Earth. It was coming from Thalkaris and Jack. Raynor was heading straight into it, with a princess beside him and 1,000 eyes waiting. The royal palace of Thalkaris stood like a mountain of glass and gold. Towers reached into the clouds. Giant statues of past emperors lined the path. Soldiers in black armor stood silent at every door. But inside the grand chamber, tension burned hotter than the twin suns outside. On a raised platform sat Emperor Varric, his crown a ring of glowing crystal, his voice sharp and cold. You were sent to represent honor, Vera, he said, and you returned with shame. Princess Vera stood tall in the center of the room. She wore no robe of royalty, no crown of gold, only a plain dark cloak. Behind her stood Jack, bruised, limping, but unshaken. All eyes were on them. Hundreds of nobles, generals, and council leaders filled the hall, watching. Whispers echoed like ghosts. That's the human. He touched her. She let him. Disgraceful, dangerous. But Vera's voice cut through the noise. I returned, not in shame, she said, but with something greater than pride. I returned with the truth. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. A truth that includes betraying our laws. No, she replied. A truth that shows us how small our laws have become. Lord Avon stepped forward. She has been poisoned by emotion, he snapped. By this creature, this human. His hug is a weapon. His warmth is a trick. Jack raised a hand slowly. If a hug is a weapon, your empire must be made of paper. Low gasp spread through the hall. Vera smiled slightly. Let him speak. The Emperor studied Jack with sharp eyes. Human, you stand in my court. Do you think you can teach us something new? Jack stepped forward. He didn't bow. He didn't speak loudly. He just opened his arms. This is what started it all, he said. Not a threat, not a trap, just something simple, a hug. Some nobles scoffed. Some turned away. Vera's voice rang out. Let the Emperor feel it. Let him know what I felt. Now even louder murmurs. This is madness, touched the Emperor. Impossible. He'll destroy him, but Emperor Varrock raised a hand. Silence. He stepped down from the throne, tall and proud. His robe flowed behind him like shadow. He stopped in front of Jack. You risk your life, human. Jack nodded. If that's what it takes to show you who I am, then I accept. The Emperor stared, and then he stepped forward. Jack moved slowly, arms widened, wrapped them around the ruler of an empire. For a moment, no one breathed, and then something changed. The Emperor's hands did not strike. His muscles did not tense. His head bowed just slightly. His eyes closed, and in that moment, a silence deeper than fear swept the hall. When he pulled back, he looked at his daughter. I understand now, he said softly. Vera blinked. Father, all my life I ruled from distance. I believed closeness was weakness, but what I felt just now was not weakness. It was weight being lifted. He turned to the nobles. We cannot build a future by fearing feeling. Ivan stepped forward, his voice desperate. You can't mean I do, the Emperor said. Let the humans speak. Let them walk among us. Let my daughter choose her own path. The chamber shook with shock. Some cheered, some turned away, in shame. But history was made, right there, with a hug. Later that night, Vera and Jack stood on a balcony high above the glowing city. Firelights danced below. Ships flew like stars between towers. You did it, Jack whispered. No, she said, holding his hand. We did it. They stood in silence. Then she asked, what happens now? Jack chuckled. Well, I think I just became the first human ambassador to an alien empire. She laughed softly, and she said, I think I became the first royal to fall in love with one. Jack looked at her. I've hugged you, he said, but I haven't kissed you yet. Vera smiled, leaning closer. Then what are you waiting for? And high above, in the blackness of space, a message spread across distance. The Thalcari's empire has opened its heart to Earth. Peace confirmed. Cultural contact approved. New era begins. And it all started with one human and one hug.